13 games into the NFL season with a 5-8 record, the Atlanta Falcons are making a change at quarterback, transitioning starting quarterback duties from Marcus Mariota to Desmond Ridder. Mariota will miss time with a chronic knee injury, but head coach Arthur Smith made it clear the change is performance-based and unrelated to his injury. In this video, we're going to take a look at the factors that led to the Falcons making the switch, as well as how it could impact Atlanta's immediate future. Since losing in spectacular fashion to the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 51, the Falcons have gone downhill. Heading into 2022, there was little hope for them to turn the tide. The Falcons defense allowed the third most points of any team in 2021, and on offense, quarterback Matt Ryan's performances made it clear he was well past his prime. His arm strength wasn't what it used to be, his stats were pretty pedestrian compared to previous seasons, and a subpar offensive line got him hit a lot. At 36 years old, Matt Ryan seemed more likely to retire than have another winning season in Atlanta. The Falcons tried getting Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans to be their next quarterback, but Houston dealt into the Cleveland Browns instead. Atlanta's open pursuit of a replacement for Matt Ryan put them at a crossroads with the 14-year veteran. In the end, they ended up trading him to the Indianapolis Colts for a third-round pick. The same day, Atlanta signed free agent Marcus Mariota to a 2-year, $18 million contract. Marcus Mariota was fresh off of 2 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders as a backup to Derek Carr. He spent the 5 seasons prior with the Tennessee Titans, who drafted him 2nd overall in the 2015 draft. Mariota's 2nd season was a clear highlight of his time in Tennessee, but aside from that, he didn't really live up to the expectations of a 2nd overall pick. Partway through the 2019 season, he got benched for Ryan Tannehill and never started another game for Tennessee. At the time Atlanta signed Mariota, few people thought he would be their solution long term, but people were curious to see if Mariota could prove himself as a starting caliber quarterback once again. It also helped that Arthur Smith was Tennessee's offensive coordinator during Mariota's time as their quarterback. A month after signing Mariota, the Falcons drafted Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati in the 3rd round of the 2022 draft. Ridder put up pretty good numbers as a Bearcat, totaling 10,239 passing yards and 87 passing touchdowns to 28 interceptions. Ridder also put in some solid work as a rusher, combining for over 2,000 rushing yards and 28 rushing touchdowns. Atlanta rolled with Mariota as a starter to begin the season, while Ridder got some reps in preseason games, putting up 431 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. To Atlanta's credit, they've made solid strides on the ground game with their run-first approach, and most of the groundwork has been split between 4th-round rookie running back Tyler Algier and receiver-turned-running back Cordero Patterson. Marcus Mariota's mobility has helped him put in some work on the ground too. This season, Mariota has thrown for 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, with 10 of them coming in the first 8 weeks of the season when the Falcons put together 4 wins and 4 losses. Not great, but it was enough at the time to get them to the top of a struggle bus NFC South division. However, the main thing holding Atlanta back on the offensive side of the ball is the passing game. They've thrown for the 2nd fewest passing yards in the league and are well behind the pack as far as passing touchdowns. This is all despite the investments they've made in pass catchers. Atlanta used a number 4 pick in the 2021 draft to make Kyle Pitts the highest drafted tight end in NFL history. This year, they used the 8th pick to draft wide receiver Drake London out of USC. Keep in mind, Pitts is 6'6", London is 6'4", and the average DB is about 6 feet even. You'd think having 2 young, tall pass catchers would be a recipe for success through the air. Throw it in their general vicinity and they're most likely catching the ball. But that can only happen if the quarterback is on target with his passes, and that just hasn't been the case for Mariota. Mariota's accuracy has actually been a pretty big issue. Even with literal giants as his 2 top pass catchers, Mariota is near the bottom of the league in the accuracy category. The Falcons have lost 4 out of their last 5 games, and Mariota in particular has had a pretty bad stretch, putting up less than 190 passing yards in each game. His performance has hindered his receivers, as Drake London's numbers are lagging well behind that of fellow rookie receivers Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, both of whom were drafted after him. And before tearing his MCL last month, Kyle Pitts wasn't even close to the numbers he put up the season before. Marcus Mariota just isn't the guy for the Falcons long term. Making the switch to Desmond Ridder now makes sense. Ridder, like Mariota, is a capable runner but has more upside. Ridder is also the ideal height for a quarterback at 6'3" and has been praised for his arm strength, mobility, and leadership qualities. The Draft Network described Ridder as someone who can thrive in a run-first offense, and the Falcons fit that bill to a T. By virtue of the NFC South being a dumpster fire, the 5-8 Falcons are still in the hunt for a division title and a playoff spot. Giving Ridder the starting job with some time left in the season allows them to determine if he's the spark the passing game needs, and if he performs well, Atlanta has a potential long-term starter on their hands. Just to note, Ridder is on a very team-friendly contract for the next 3 seasons. The Falcons have a lot of cap space to work with this offseason and currently project to have the 6th pick in the 2023 draft. If Ridder flames out, it makes the most sense for Atlanta to use that pick on Kentucky quarterback Will Levis. Will Levis has been praised for his strong arm and solid accuracy, which is something that'll definitely help Drake London and Kyle Pitts. But that's only if Will Levis is even available when it's time for Atlanta to pick. There are a few teams behind them that could use a change at quarterback, namely the Colts with Matt Ryan, who is as of today not only on the wrong side of the largest comeback in Super Bowl history, but now the largest comeback in NFL history. There's something about Matt Ryan and blowing leads I just don't get. Anyway, long story short is that there's some teams who might suck worse than the Falcons by season's end and knock them down the draft board. With Ridder to start the rest of the season and the possibility of Atlanta drafting Will Levis next year, the idea of Marcus Mariota as a starting quarterback could be back to being a thing of the past. He's scheduled to undergo knee surgery, and many question the timing of Mariota deciding to go through with the surgery right after he got benched. Arthur Smith also confirmed the knee injury wasn't anything that had affected Mariota up until he got benched, so the entire situation is just confusing. Desmond Ridder could either provide Atlanta the glimmer of hope it has needed since coming up short in the Super Bowl, or put Atlanta in a position to take a quarterback in the first round for the first time since 2008. And then that quarterback could be the glimmer of hope.